Kate, which up here, she's here with boosters and she runs our booster auction. There's always questions about how that works and how we can access, support it, and then in return sort of request funds back from the booster auction. So I thought I'd have her here to just briefly talk about what she does and what we can do.
Perfect. Hi, nice to see you. Hopefully you guys have all gotten an email from Suzanne Daly in the last week. Yes, now maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is helping me reach out to the clubs and the sports teams so that there's just a more direct point of contact since I'm in charge of the auction, so that it's just a quicker response. But what we're trying to do is make sure that you guys understand how your clubs and teams can benefit from the Shorewood Booster Auction, and then what we can do to try and support you in those efforts. So obviously the Boosters does a granting process within a month after the auction, and so you're able to submit grants for your ASU recognized clubs and teams. But in order for there to be money in the grant pool, we have to make money at the auction. So that's where your clubs and teams getting items donated for the auction to sell to the people who come to the auction is kind of critical. So we provide the mechanism, we just need you guys to help get the items that we're going to sell there. And that, for every item you guys get donated from your club, it's 70% of it goes directly to your club, 30% goes into the booster fund that then creates the grants. Does that make sense? So 100% of it is going back to the students, just in one way or another. So we're trying to get more clubs and teams involved than have been before. A lot of clubs have never accessed this as a tool for you to raise money for your group. So we weren't sure if it was from lack of understanding as to how it works, if you need more information, a different way of information, a different way of communicating. So I wanted to come and figure out where the hole is and see how we can help you so that it's a mutually beneficial situation. Do you guys have any questions on? Yes?
We've put in art that kids have made, but it never sells well.
So the difference this year is that we're not actually having items. We're doing, we're downsizing the scope of the auction so that there's less stuff and things on tables. It's going to be more gift certificates for restaurants, gift certificates for experiences, and then we have live auction items where there's actual items.
I have a great idea that I'll share with you later for the art club to do. I think you'll really love it.
So the theme of the auction is T-Bird Pride. So everything is blue, green, white. We're kind of getting back to the roots of what Boosters is really all about, and that is promoting the pride and spirit in the school and getting kids involved in campus. So if there's something along those lines that would tie into our theme, that would be awesome to incorporate. Yeah. Yes?
Are public budgets expected to purchase tickets to attend the auction if they are facilitating the work of their club at the auction?
There's not an expectation. We would love for more advisors and coaches to be there because the people who are attending the event are helping raise money for your clubs and organizations. So we love having names with faces, people interacting, and kind of tying all those pieces together, but it's in no way required. But
if you want to have the meal, like sit down dinner part of it, then you've got to purchase a ticket.
Yes.
But some, especially coaches, will sometimes come for the beginning of things and not stay for the meal, but they'll come to meet and mingle and then leave. So it's not a necessity that you pay for the ticket. But I think they're trying to cut down the size of the cost for dinner as well. I mean,
we are slightly, there's only so many of our hard costs that we can get rid of. So we are minimizing our cost of our tickets, so they'll probably be more along the lines of 60 as opposed to 75. But we definitely can have advisors on the front end without having to purchase the ticket, but we do need you to RSVP. So we'll send out something through you so that we know how many extra people are coming. But we would love to have everybody there if we could. So
It's fun. It's really fun.
it is a fun event, yes.
So something like Art Attack could give something for the auction, an experience like maybe one of Lori's best art students would say that he or she would come to somebody's home and sketch their home. And that would be
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah.
Self-portrait.
Or do
Or
a
a
photography
party,
session,
like a,
or,
you know,
yes.
they have a sip and paint, you know, if they have a sip and paint
Events.
businesses out there,
Yeah.
you know, creating
Depends on
something
how
like.
much you sip.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm usually a much better painter after school.
I think you are.
I didn't take the art classes.
I'm more of a gulp and
There you go, there you go. Whatever works. No, but so you can think outside the box of what these certificates are. So people tend to be more willing to purchase something that isn't purchasable, right? So whether it is a private art class in the Shorewood Art Room for you and 9 of your friends, you know, like you bring the appetizers and you could do something like that. If we can work that with the school through signing up through Brit, something like that would be really fun, and then your people would lead the class, or, you know, and obviously would be donating up the materials, right? Or coming in and doing a cooking class or culinary arts or whatever. So
A birthday party.
we
teach
want
something.
everybody to kind of think outside the box, because the more that your item sells for, the more money your club and team has to work with. Yes?
Is there a list of what clubs can and cannot spend money on?
It's cars, it's cultural, athletic, recreational, and social. And it typically are things that would stay with the program.
So the granting process is different than the 70%.
Oh, that's the ASB, sorry, that's the ASB stuff. I don't
Because
know.
I'm really confused on like the difference in terms of clubs accessing funds. Well, we don't usually spend a lot of money because we're afraid that they'll get, like, it won't get approved. So we're told like, oh, you can't do food, here you can do food, which is really confusing.
Oh, you can, if it's
If
for
there's
your
like a
kids.
list of like, so the boosters money, if that goes.
So for the 70% of what your item sells for, that's unencumbered money. You can do whatever you want with that. You can get shirts for your crew, you can do whatever. You can take a field trip, whatever. The 30% that goes into the granting process, the grants have much more restrictions, because that has to be for something that remains with the school. So like the marching band uniforms, or, you know, like the videography equipment. That stuff stays with the school and has a life outside, or the mixers that culinary arts got.
So an advisor or a coach can know, okay, this is for sure something that we can't use booster money for, so we are going to use the 70% money that way, and then we'll use the granting money directly from the boosters for a way that it's okay for boosters to let us spend.
But in order to get the 70%, you have to have donated something to the auction. So the deadline is February 13th, and that's because of midwinter break, and so that we have time to incorporate all the parts and pieces. So I'm going to leave you guys with some information and procurement forms if that is helpful. Grab it on your way out. Yes?
I'm wondering, this might be a silly question, and maybe it's for you, Elaine. I'm the macabre advisor for the Literary Arts magazine, and usually we put together a basket with like a book and some hot chocolate and stuff in it. But if I were to run like a memoir writing workshop for you and 9 of your friends, could, and I had it here, could I have it be like a sip and draw, but have it be a sip and write?
No, well, they can be sipping non-alcoholic beverages, but you need to get a license to sip.
A liquor license.
Okay, I could have it at someone else's house.
You can
though,
have it at
and
home,
sip.
and there's no restrictions.
Okay.
Yes.
You
So
know, somebody's home.
anything where there's food and beverages is very attractive, because then it feels like an adventure. for
Would anybody
people.
buy something like that, do you think?
Arnie Marino does it every year. I think he does a dinner like at his house with him and
Yeah,
his
but if
wife.
I was offering to run a writing workshop on
Yeah.
writing memoir and,
So he does it every
Like for
year
your book club
and
or
it goes to
something?
the tennis club and he gets pretty, I mean, I think last year was like $4 or
I'm just not gonna
$5.
go for Yeah, no one wants me to.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but like, you know, like even like a resume writing workshop, you know, like if you know a resource that does that. You know, parents are always looking for a resource for that, and to, you know, help.
Poetry writing for Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation,
Yeah.
holidays,
Yeah. So
personalized
just kind of
gifts.
thinking outside the box, and my information is on this paperwork, or you can contact Suzanne who emailed you, and we can kind of help you brainstorm, think outside the box, come up with ways to get your group involved. The other thing is, you know, people in your clubs or teams might own a business or know somebody who owns a business that would be willing to donate something, or an experience of some kind. So trying to do things that your average everyday person can't just purchase is more valuable.
Or you could partner up with the art club and you guys write something and then they decorate it, you know, to make a display, something beautiful.
It's a little tougher to divide funds that
Oh,
way
okay.
unless you're willing to do 50-50 and then we can do something like that. But just contact me with any questions and we can help navigate what needs to
What's your
happen.
name again?
Vicky Jaquish.
And it's on the forms, right?
Yes. So I'll just leave these in the back.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna go kind of fast. Basically what I am doing is I'm trying to streamline things. I'm trying to be more productive and save you time in the long run and just make it easier for everybody. So I gotta get rid of the freeze motion here. Okay, so I've created a new system. Huh?
The leftover forms, could you put them out in the Dewey piece so that people can grab them if they need?
Oh, in the, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so I'm creating a new system for record keeping. We do have to be required by state, especially if it has anything to do with funding. We have to have clear records. We need to have a better accountability for what clubs are actually doing. And I want to just review everything that's in this presentation. There are rules that are created to protect you as well as the students, and see me if you have any questions. Here's basically the key here. I have created in Google Drive folders for every club. I have shared them with you, given you editing privileges, and then in that folder are 3 documents: the generic constitution, a sample minutes template, and a generic roster for club members with officer names and contact information. That way you can just have it there and I can access it and see it at any time. Lori can access it and see it at any time. If we have questions or we want to talk to somebody in your club, we can know where we can go and how to reach people. A suggestion is that you share this with one of your club leaders, 1 or 2 or 3 people that you trust that aren't going to go in and delete things, and have them keep records of the minutes. It's not more work for you. You just have control over who you share it with. And then each year you would just change that ownership. You should always have access to it, but have a different student each year have access to that account and folder. And I would suggest maybe doing a folder within a folder that has the information for each year. And then if you stop being the advisor, we just hand that over, just change the names, and then all the information is there for everybody to see the history of your club and information. I was going to show you, if you go to your drive, if you haven't seen it, go under here to the shared with me, and that's where you should find the folder. The folders, as you can see here, I have 3D design, ambassadors, amnesty, art attack, Asian culture, auto tech, like all this in alphabetical order, but I have access to all of them. You'll just have the 1 or 2 or 3 for the club that you're running right now. And within that folder, you should have these 3, that's the wrong one, I'll just pick one, ambassadors. So here you can see a template that you could use for taking minutes of meetings. You don't have to use it. If you have your own system, if you have like NHS already has things online, just put the link on a document. Here's all of our information, and we can go there and get it. That's fine. You don't have to use my documents. These are just there if you don't have anything to use. A place for your roster, and then for you to have your constitution. Every couple years you should review your constitution about what you're doing, why you're doing it, who's on the team, how you select your leaders, like all those kinds of pieces, and just kind of what your focus is for that club. Sometimes you even do a name change. Over the years things kind of morph and change, and you might want to change your name. So you want to update your club constitution, and I want to just keep an electronic file rather than me trying to keep paper files of everything. It's just a nightmare. So everybody has those 3 documents. Again, I would keep these templates and then have a folder for year 18, 19, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then you can just go in and make changes each year and just copy and paste. Yeah.
So we don't have to use the template, but you do want us to store the information on it?
Yes, absolutely. Whatever way.
Handwritten at this point, so.
Yeah, I would suggest getting an electronic copy of it, and again, have a student do that. If they're really about old school handwriting of stuff, you can scan it in and post it that way. That works as well. The other thing, yes?
We've been taking roll. You don't need to do that, or you?
Well, that's what would be in your minutes. Your minutes would tell who was there. It's in the minutes.
All right.
Yeah, and again, you don't have to use this template, but typically it just says the name of the club, meeting date, time, location, who was present, who was absent, and then just notes of what you guys did that day. Yeah. And then if you go to the Shorewood website, on the activities tab, here, and then you go here to clubs. The list of clubs are all listed here, but this link right here is a link to Google Drive documents. So if you click on that, that's going to take you to this folder. This training PowerPoint that I have right here, plus the handout that I gave you, plus the list of all our clubs are on that folder. So you can access those at any time to make sure it's the correct information, or if you forgot something or you're interested, like what was it that she said again about that, it's right there for you. So everybody can access that through the ASB website. Activities, tab, and then clubs, and then it's the very first page, the link to Google Drive documents. Okay, so that's there for everybody at all times. Just for viewing, it's not for editing. Okay, back to this. So we have our your folder, so I'd really like you to start using that so I can access that information, and it's really easy to change it over, and you can have students access the information and post it for us. Share with a club leader, keep a record. You have to have, it's not required for our sports teams, performance groups. When I say performance groups, I mean cheer, flag, drill, hip hop, or a club that's connected to the class, like DECA or ASB leadership, band, choir, orchestra. But if you're doing anything that has something to do with money, if you're doing a fundraiser, I need to have some kind of record for it that says what you're doing and why you're doing it. And that's kind of the next piece here, which is why Lori is here. It has to do with funding. That's our biggest issue and conflict that we run into every year is around fundraising. Really, all you need to know is this point up here. If you are doing anything, come and see Lori before you do anything. Kids say, we want to do a fundraiser, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to go here, we want to go there. Before you say yes to anything, go see Lori. There's a lot of paperwork that we have to do and signatures and approvals that we have to make for any kind of a fundraiser. And we also don't want to be running multiple fundraisers at the same time that are doing the same thing. So sometimes it's a timing piece. So it's really important that you see her first. Lots of details here. You need to have an ASB account, supporting of the auction, which we talked about. They have to be pre-approved. One thing, only staff people can be reimbursed. You can have students or parents get reimbursed if they purchase something. Only staff people can be reimbursed. We would really prefer that you use a purchase order rather than you using your own money. That would be a choice. Anything that's sold needs to go through Lori's office or behind a window that's secure. We have to get cash boxes changed. There's ticketing information. There's all kinds of procedures that you need to go over with Lori about how to handle money. Here's where you're doing the cars piece. The funding that you do needs to be used for cultural, athletic, recreation, and social. If it's money that you're fundraising, you can use that for your club to buy t-shirts or to purchase pizza for a lunch party. You can use fundraise money for that. If ASB is giving you money for something, it needs to be something that really stays with the program.
So if you have questions about, can I buy this, just ask.
Yeah.
Just send me a quick email.
Yeah. Money has to be turned in every day for fundraisers, and you have to spend the money in the year that you've earned it. A few exceptions, if you're planning a big band trip to, England or something, it might take a year or two to do fundraising to pay for a really big event like that. Those ones we can carry over, but the little fundraisers, whenever you do a fundraiser, you should say what it's for. You shouldn't be stockpiling your money. We need to spend it each year on the kids who have done the work. It should go to them. Okay? Questions about that? I'm going to go really fast.
Could we buy supplies to give to the kids? With the money, the 70% money we get access? Like Prismacolor pencils?
To use for the club, yeah.
If they're only used during the club activity.
But not for them to take
You
home?
you can't give them.
Okay.
That would be a.
Well, if you wanted to do a fundraiser so kids could purchase supplies, then you could.
Okay.
Yes. But you couldn't ask ASB, could you give us $200 to buy supplies? I would say yes if it's for the club, staying with the club, but no if it's going to go home with kids.
Okay.
It's a little gray area there.
Well, it would stay with the club but get used up.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
Can students turn in money to the business office, or do you want them to give it to their advisor and the advisor turns it in once a day?
For the fundraiser?
Yeah.
Well, normally it's gonna be through my window. There was
Okay,
a
so
few-
students shouldn't give it to the advisor, they should give it to you at the window.
Don't take money.
Don't take money.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah, don't touch money.
Yeah. If you're doing something in the evening, like if you're selling old uniforms at a basketball game, there is a drop box that's outside my door that you can use to put money in for deposits is locked and
Don't
safe.
take it home.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
So
never do that.
before you do anything like that, just ask me and I'll
Yeah.
go over the procedure and tell you the best way to do it.
You really just need to know that first line.
You're a great word.
That's it. Also, some rules about car washes, I'm gonna skip that. A reminder of dates, every August at that new student kickoff, we are started doing an activity fair that's been a great way to generate new student interest. And then somewhere in September, October, we do that one during lunch that happens out in the courtyard. I do have a survey, a really quick 3-question survey that I'm gonna really try to push to get as many kids in our school to fill out that I'll show you in just a minute. And then I'm gonna have a meeting during SAS with all the club leaders to go over a lot of this information as well. So you can kind of prepare them for that coming up in the near future. Other general requirements, that if you are an ASB sponsored club that's receiving ASB money, then your kids in your club should have an ASB card. It's the only fundraiser we have, it's the only way we get any money, so we want to support that. And with that, you have access to our supplies like butcher paper, paint, die cuts, thank you cards, things like that. You can access materials. Yes?
How do we know if our club is approved, like ASB, if we have an account? I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, if you have an account. And do you have account balances here? Did you get just?
Yeah, I'm gonna print out of everybody's.
So Lori has account information, so if you have an account, then you know that you're an ASB approved account. It's also, there's codes on this sheet here that's posted on the website that would say if they're ASB approved. Most are. There's just the new ones that are not.
Where do we access the supplies?
They're with me in the paint room. Yep.
And I can give you a list, if you give me a roster of students, I mean, I can now be able to go in and probably access them, but, you know, you've got students who want to know if they have their ASB cards, I can let you know. So you can kind of-
And that's what would help us with having the rosters available online, would be helpful for us if we needed to check something. And remember, if you're planning any kind of event that happens in the evening, after school or evening, please come and check with me so I can get it reserved. We have a lot of outside groups that are using our building, our facility, so you can't just assume that the Commons is going to be available and open to have a party or something. So please come in and check and book those. They do get booked way in advance, so work with me on those pieces. If you want to use the theater, that's with Mark McCartney, but I can help you with that communication. But anytime during the day or evening or weekend, it's Mark McCartney for the theater.
What did the previous slide say about answering a 3-question survey?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that in just a second, yeah. Publicity opportunities, just knowing the different pieces that are out there. For morning announcements or the Nest, I have a Google form, I'm gonna show you where that is too. So it's linked on this website right here, and it's linked on the document that's posted on that folder. But if you go to the home page for the Shorewood website, and down here it says morning announcements, click on that, and it says right here's the link right here. If you'd like an announcement read over the PA, please use this Google form. It's a very simple form, takes seconds to fill out. It has to be in there the day before because we print them out after school the day before. The Nest is actually recorded now on Tuesday, so they're writing the script Monday night. So if you want something in a Wednesday Nest, you've got to get it in there by Monday. And it does say that on the form what the deadlines are for getting those posted. But this is also another document that we just have kind of scrolling that just has simple things that are happening in our school for people who are not here in the morning or can't hear the announcements. I just post a few school things here. Okay, back to this. Other publicity pieces, Shoreline area news, school paper would obviously be with Kelly Gade. The Instagram account for this year is Max Luthi, and there's his email right there. If you want something posted on the Shorewood Instagram, it's right here. The Shorewood webpage would be Nate Stearns. Building the monitors, the TV monitors, is Susan King. PTSD and boosters, their contact information is on the Shorewood website. And then Curtis Campbell is our district person. So those are all linked right there, but it's also linked on the document that you have a hard copy of on the folder that's available on the website. Okay, I'll show you that. Social media guidelines. This is just a reminder. Do not friend or accept invitations from students for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, You should not friend students. Using texting or social media for group communication only. If it's for a club communication, that's fine. Not personal back and forth. Talk to students about responsible use. Nothing goes away. Some posts have led to criminal charges and destruction of a reputation. Advisors, be aware that nothing goes away on social media. If you post things, think about who may be reading it. Kids access, they can see your accounts. Poster flyer guidelines. See me to approve and stamp posters and flyers. For flyers, just bring me the original and then make copies of it so I don't have to go through and stamp 50 of them. Then make the copies. Bulletin boards, don't use the ones that are already like owned by clubs. I know the art department has one, I know media has one, I think culinary arts. If they are sort of belonging to the program, don't put stuff on those. You can put them on all the other bulletin boards. You can always give them to teachers and ask them to post them in their room, on their bulletin boards or on their doors. We ask that you not put them on glass. And if you want them on the potty talk, I forgot to mention, that's also Max Luffy. And we do put those in bathroom stalls. That's the only place that we sort of allow them on the doors. If you want one of the large bulletin boards that are in the commons, or these two sort of medium sized that are right here on the other side of this wall, organize, schedule that with me. People just request to use those throughout the year, so if you want one of the big ones, come in and check with me about if it's available. It's usually available, but there's sometimes they do get booked out. Legal issues, this is coming from the sports, this coaches training, so some of it may seem kind of weird that I'm sharing it with you, but they told me to use this one. Please don't order or receive items without a purchase order. Don't have anything sent to your personal home address. If you want to be reimbursed for something, it can't go to your home, it has to be delivered to the school. Okay? Don't be friends with students on media. Don't invite students to outside events that may or may not be consistent with school district values. Don't embezzle money. Don't violate boundaries. I know I gotta put it in here. Inappropriate posting on media, requiring or providing incentives or rewards for students to participate in non-school district sponsored events, or using student data for personal financial gain. Okay? Behaviors to avoid: having students visit your home. That includes things like babysitting. No matter how great they are, if they're a student of yours, they should not be babysitting for you, or dog sitting or anything. I know it's really convenient because you know them so well and you feel like they're safe and trustworthy and all, but we just can't do it. You just can't do it. Having secluded contact, giving special treatment, traveling together, fostering relationships outside of the coaching or advising activity, making personal comments to individual students, close proximity. These are all things, safe schools trainings, you guys do them every year. Risk management things, this is required. The red stuff probably pertains to you. Again, it's common sense stuff. What?
Could you go back one?
It's all available for you.
But all of this stuff isn't on the Safe Schools training. So what's the board policy 5223?
Violating board policy, conflict of interest.
Uh-huh.
A conflict of interest.
What does that mean?
But what in terms of club advisors?
If you have business and
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Your business was selling something to your club.
Like I have a side business, or I'm a personal photographer and I do senior portraits. And you're advertising that in your classroom to pay to have you do their senior portraits. That would be a conflict of interest. Yeah. Or DJing, we can't pay people to DJ dances, things like that, I guess. Those are good examples.
We have a t-shirt business.
T-shirt business, yeah, conflict of interest. Because you're making money on your club. Yes. Those I think are self-explanatory. Transportation, if you're doing any transportation, we do have vans and buses that we can use to help support that. Just make sure you're following the proper protocol for any kind of a field trip. Duty report anything, I mean, that's, I think, safe schools that you know if something has been, if the student has been a victim. I'm trying to go fast. Controlling harassment and hazing, especially if your club is doing things off-site, and sometimes they have these rituals and they want to initiate people into the club. You got to really, we can't do that. We just need to have a positive, event for everybody. You don't ever want to isolate somebody as being new and make them do something different than everybody else is doing. That's considered hazing and harassment and bullying. Just don't go there. You do need to be aware of what's going on, so you need to tell your leaders you can't schedule things outside of school without me there. That's not like I didn't know, doesn't really fly. It's your responsibility to know, and you should have that conversation that says, as a leader of this club, you can't be organizing events without my knowledge and approval of what's going on. That's to protect you as well as the kids. Because parents hear things, they're like, oh, it's for the such and such a club. We're meeting here at the bowling alley and doing blah, blah, blah. And there's no advice, the parent thinks that the advisor there is school approved, you know, they think it's all safe on the up and up, and then they go there and something bad happens, and then the school gets involved, and it's just not a good thing. So just make it really clear with tends to be your seniors, your club leaders, that they can't organize events without your knowledge. And they shouldn't ever be anywhere without you supervising at all times. Develop healthy traditions. I think those are self-explanatory too. Strategies for advisors: be a role model, be professional, protect the students, report inappropriate conduct, be consistent, supervise, trust. Bottom line, understand your role as an adult leader. Okay. I'll do that really, really fast. Again, let me just show you this. You go here to the Shorewood website, you go to the activities page, you go to clubs, and here's the link to the Google Drive documents. This slideshow that I just showed you is right here. This handout that I just gave you is right here. And it has the live links to the contacts for like publicity and things like that. And this is a list of our current clubs. I may have made mistakes, so let me know if I have a mistake. I'll try to keep it updated. But that folder is available live for everybody to see. And then if you go to the front page here, the home page, Nate posted this for me, but right here, students, please take this short 3-question student participation survey. There's actually a new push at Olympia around student involvement and reducing the gap with kids who are participating and those who are not, and trying to figure out why they're not participating and hoping that it's not a financial reason. I think that here at Shorewood we do a really good job of supporting kids for ASB cards and athletic fees and things like that. I believe that we have a lot of systems in place, but sometimes kids don't know about those systems. So I want to find out how many kids are really involved or not involved, and the ones who are not involved, why. So this survey is right here. This is just, I haven't pushed it out yet. I'm going to mention it to the student council meeting on Thursday, and then we're going to try to push it out next week. But I wanted to show it to you. It literally says, all it is you click your grade level. Are you involved? Yes or no. If it's yes, you click the ones that you're involved in, curricular, performance, sports. If it's no, why are you not participating? Is it because of time? Is it because of finances? Is it because of transportation? That's it. That's all there is to it. It's really, really easy. I try to make it really simple and fast and easy because I need as many of our students to fill this out as possible. So that's the survey that I haven't pushed out yet, that nobody knows about yet. But I just figure the more people that know about it, the more you can encourage your club members to do it. Obviously they're going to say yes because they're in your club, but we need to reach out to the kids in your classroom as well to figure out what the no's are and see what we can do to support them. Yeah.
Can we do that like as a SAS activity or something so that you have so if I ask my kids, they go, oh, I already did that, and whoever in my class has already asked me to do that or something, so.
Yeah, we could, but there's a huge number of kids who are not in SAS classes. And I think a lot of those kids are probably ones that are not connected to the school in some way. So we could do it once in a SAS or in a third period in those 10 minutes. Yeah, but even so, I think third period we probably have we have higher registration in third period than we do SAS?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we can add it to a third period at the end of the nest. At this time, go to the website and click on this link. Maybe we could try that for this
Because you
one.
just do club members, you're not gonna get the notes, you're not gonna know.
Right, yes. But it does give me some data, so at least know how many people filled it out. Yeah. Okay, I think that was super fast, but I just wanted to get you guys out of here as fast as I could. Again, all this material is available online. All I can say is I really need you to start using that folder. Double check that you can find the folder, that I've shared it with the right person. Make sure that you can see it. You do have to use your K-12 account to get in there. But if you can just start using that for keeping records, it's just going to make everybody's life easier. Do you want to add anything about finances?
No, just other than if you just ever have a question, like she left. She was saying, Laura was saying she didn't want to spend money because it's gonna be a no.
Yeah.
Just ask, say we're
We
thinking
wanna do
about
a
this.
fundraiser to buy this.
And maybe you can't do that, but maybe I'll have another idea of like, well, what about this, or,
We can't sell candy grams, but we
Yeah.
can sell flower grams,
So if we wanted to buy pizza for a meeting, do we pay for it and then get reimbursed from you?
Yes, but you can also do a PO from, we have several
Okay.
pizza places close by that are vendors.
Okay.
You can do a Domino's for delivery, and then you don't have to put your money on it. Which is the preferred
Yes.
purchase, yeah.
And can you add tips to that?
Yes, yeah. In the past, it was no, but now you're allowed to do a tip and get reimbursed or added to the PO.
That's great, okay. Sorry that I talked really fast, but I value your time. Do you have any questions for me?
It's good info. Good info.
Okay, good, just start using that folder, okay, start using that, that's gonna make all of our lives easier.